I think that was the hardest thing, was that people put you on this pedestal like she's waiting on God and she ain't doing this and she ain't doing that and she's got this going on and that's what you need to be like. And I was sitting there like, I'm miserable. And I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to lie to you about how great it is over here doing what I'm doing. I'm not happy. And that was the hardest thing for me to go to God and say, I am not happy. I am not content. This is not the life that I wanted, and I don't know what you want me to do. And I distinctly remember getting down to pray one day and getting right back up and saying, I don't know what you want me to say. And I just walked away. Hey everyone, welcome to Women Work Your Faith. This is Sylvia, and you are now in part 2 of the Single and Saved series. If you haven't seen part 1, please watch. In this video, I'm talking with Kenesha about how God is helping me on this journey through single life. And I say helping because it is an ongoing journey, and it is an experience that I am constantly growing and learning from. So I hope that you enjoy this and that you take away something from this video. Without further ado, let's get to it. It was a hard conversation to have with myself and to have with God, because I thought that, I kind of thought that by saying that to him, I was like sinning or something. And so this is how he helped me. This is how he helped me though, because I was reading, and there are 2 women in the Bible that had issues. The first woman in the Bible was Hannah. I knew you were going to say her. Because, and the first time I read about Hannah and 1 Samuel, I didn't think about her like that. But later, when I was coming back to her on something else, I looked at her situation and it was so much like mine. So she had a desire, right? She wanted to have children. And I'm not going to read you the whole story, but there are a couple of points. She wanted to have children. She had none. She had a husband that loved her. And then he had another wife who, was her antagonist because she got kids.
Popping them out.
Because she got kids. And so, her adversary is constantly rubbing in her face, I got these babies and you got none. And so she was hurt. And the first thing that stood out to me about her was what her husband said to her. Yeah, why are you crying? Because she was crying and she wasn't eating, and he was like, why? Don't I love you more than any children? Don't I? And that was the thing that people didn't understand about my situation. It's not either or. Thank the Lord I have a house. I thank the Lord for my health. I'm grateful for my family that I have and for my job, but it's not either or. I can't trade any one of those things for something else. Some of y'all got some kids. If you lose one of them, and the other one say, well, Mom, it don't matter.
Right.
Don't you like me too? It's not the same. They're not interchangeable. And that was the thing that people didn't understand when they were talking to me. I'm not getting ready to sell my house and quit my job because I can't find a husband, or a husband ain't found me. It's not either or. And of course, he didn't understand, and it didn't say the Bible said she answered him. Because she probably realized he don't understand. The next thing that stood out, and this is what really, really helped me come to God and be honest, when she went to the temple and she prayed in bitterness of soul. And it said she wept sore, or I read, someone translated, and it said the accurate translation is she wept and wept. And she was heartbroken, she was hurt, she was devastated. She was overwhelmed, right? She was deeply wounded by this constant situation, and she went with that bitterness to God. And I just went and I said, I feel like this. There's no one who understands it. There's no one here to help me. I feel like you haven't answered, and I know you're not answering because you can't. But I don't know why you're not answering. And it hurts. Like sometimes I would pray and I would say it hurts. And just to be able to put that out and just to say it to God. And then I started hearing, So where he led me to when he started speaking was Martha.
That's
was Martha. Because when she saw Jesus, she said, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. And that's how I felt. God, if you had answered me. And what she said, even now, if you do it, if you ask, I know. Martha has been, I've been rolling with Martha since January. That's the fact that maybe my situation is to the glory of God. And I guess that's the hope in this. Because sometimes, I'll be honest, in this journey, I have felt like there was no hope. This is all bad. It's not gonna work. I start to see the clock ticking. I start to think about all the things I wanted to do, and I felt pretty hopeless. Like, this isn't gonna happen. And then I got to Martha, and I was like, so where is the glory of God in this? Where can God be made known in my situation? Where can He, really shine in my situation? And where I really like broke down and just gave full disclosure, not that He didn't know, but because I was giving it to God, is when I finally understood what it meant when it said Jesus wept. Because at that point, and you have to go back and read it. Yeah. At that point, Martha was like, yeah, I believe. And he went out there to that stone, and she was like, hold on, brother. I believe, but wait a minute, you ain't gonna move that out. He been in his thing. He been in there 4 days.
For some time now.
And that's how, like, the situation in my life, I was getting to the point where I thought it was dead. And here come God talking, and I'm kind of feeling something because you're talking to me about it. I don't know. Like I'm ready to bury this kind of bitterly. Like, I'm about to be like Martha and just fall out and be upset about it, But I'm getting ready to bury this, right? Because I just turned 40, and I'm like, none of this is gonna happen. And he get ready to roll a stone, and I'm like, hold on. And what really pulled me together was when I saw Jesus, when I was like, why is he crying? You told us Lazarus was dead long before they knew Lazarus was gonna die, or you knew when you got the message Lazarus was gonna. So I was like, why is he crying? He's gonna get Lazarus up for death. He didn't cry for Lazarus. He was crying for Martha and the people, because he felt, even though Jesus knew what he was going to do, and he knew what the purpose of him doing it was, he still has the compassion and the love for the people to feel their hurt, their pain, and what they're going through. He doesn't want you to feel that, which is why he came, right? To fix all of that. Not someone who can't identify with what I'm doing or what I'm feeling and my hurts, my wounds, my sicknesses, in all points tempted. That's part of why Jesus came in the flesh, right? He came down here to be with us, to experience with us. And that's why he was weeping. That was never God's will that Sylvia walk around feeling guilty and isolated and attacked and ostracized and unworthy for this amount of time. That was never his desire for me. And that was a hard part where I was like, is this what you want from my life? I remember that day. I was like, is this your will for my, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. But it's not. And that's sometimes what we say, well, it's the will of God. No, it is not the will of God. His will is that we all come to repentance and be reconciled with him. This anger, suffering, pain, no. He uses what is happening to glorify his name so that his will can be made known in the earth.
Yes.
And so that kind of, I was like, okay. And all of a sudden he starts talking. And I'm like, maybe you've been talking and I just ain't been here. My message for myself is he's still God.
He's still God.
And I don't know how to explain it.
Wouldn't take anything away from him. He's still who he is.
He's still who he is. And not just he's God and tough luck, Sylvia. But he's God cares. And he cares about what's happening to you. And I'm hurting, he's hurting. He is that compassionate and that loving and that sincere about his people that my grief is his grief. My pain is his pain. And I don't have to feel wrong or and he'll tell you if you're wrong. I don't have to feel wrong or unfaithful or not saved enough or not holy enough or whatever because there's something I'm not pleased with. I can take it to God. He can handle it.
He can handle it, and he definitely cares.
He definitely does. And I can admit now that I wasn't always really certain he did. And I hope that someone sees this and that you see this as an opportunity to go be before the Lord
and work through
it. He wants you to come to him. He wants you to trust in him. And that was the biggest thing for me, was being able to trust him. And that's part of the he is God part, right? That faith piece, that believing. It's not faith that he will give me this car or this house. That's what
the house though.
He did get the house. But he said he was gonna get the house. That's the thing, that you can trust his word. You trust his word, not I'm trusting him to fulfill my checklist, but I am trusting him. And it has taken me all of this time to get to that space in the life pursuit to say, I'm trusting him. So there's the hope right there. If you were looking for you have your husband a 30 days message, unless he's
10 days.
Unless
10 prayer points.
10 prayer points. I don't have the husband, get your man checklist. I just have that message of hope. Take it to God. I understand what people put on you and what people make you feel and what people make you do.